what do we got for you? We have a behind-the-scenes look at the making of Infamous 1, some teases on Infamous 2, and you get to see some really cool stuff that no one's seen before. So this all amounts to about 15 minutes of footage you've never seen before, ever. And you get time to ask questions, and you get free T-shirts. So it's not bad. All right, so we're all about giving new and fun information. And did everybody know that Infamous, the original, started getting developed in 2005? Yes, this is true. Actually, you know what? I should probably tell you who's on the panel, huh? All right, so, sorry. It's late. I've been up early. All right, right here we have Darren Bridges, who is game designer, and he worked on Infamous 1. He's working on Infamous 2. Over here in the middle, we've got Chris Zimmerman, who is development director, and he's been at Sucker Punch forever, right?
Yep.
All right. And then at the very end, we have Edward Pun, who is artist on Infamous 1 and 2. Now, back to what I was saying. So in 2005, you guys pitched a game, and it was exactly what shipped, right?
Not quite.
No.
Not quite.
No. Actually, maybe what the easiest thing to do probably is to show you all the pitch video that we actually took to Sony when we were telling them what game we wanted to make next. Could you roll video 1?
There it is, guys. So you think Cole changed between 1 and 2? Look at that.
It's gritty, you know. It's hard edged.
Yeah, totally. So of course, coming off of Sly, we still like the cartoony style. So that's kind of what we tried first. But you can tell there's definitely sections of stuff that we kept. You know, there was villains, there was a city, there was people, and and heroes. Right now, what would you do? I mean, as a hero. Boom. That's it.
There you go. Yeah, so our original idea for the game was actually pretty different than what Infamous 1 actually turned out to be. We kind of thought of it as kind of Animal Crossing meets Spider-Man.
Animal Crossing fans in the house.
Is it Animal Crossing or Spider-Man fans, do you think? So we, and you may ask yourself, gosh, that seems like a strange idea for a game. And you'd be right, and that's why we didn't actually end up shipping that. So, it changed a lot as we went. The way we kind of go about building games is a little bit different than a lot of companies. We're really kind of a prototype and iterate place where we don't really have a plan. There's no spec for the game. There wasn't a spec for Infamous 1. There wasn't a spec for Infamous 2. There isn't a spec for Infamous 2. We kind of have a general idea of what we're trying to do, and then we go out and build stuff, and we try it, and we see what's fun. And the stuff that's fun, we keep. And the stuff that's not fun, we take videos of so we can show to you. So you're going to see a lot of embarrassing footage from the last 4 years.
All right.
Yeah, we kind of assume that no idea is any good until you actually can see it in the game working. So we don't really trust ourselves. The theater of the mind is often a lot stronger than what actually turns out on the game. So we really believe in getting it to the game as fast as possible, try it, and then make sure it's fun before moving forward.
Which is the perfect setup for talking about prototyping. So you guys said that you try a lot of stuff. So do you want to show the guys some home movies of some of your prototyping for the original game?
Yeah, one of the focuses in the video you're going to see, this is the kissing demo. And you may be asking yourself, gosh, I don't remember a lot of kissing in Infamous 1. Well, you'll see why. We were really focused early on the idea of a simulated city. Again, it was kind of the Animal Crossing vibe, where the city existed and you were kind of taking care of it. And for that to be interesting, the city had to react. It had to really be alive. There needed to be people walking around doing the things that people would do in a superhero-ridden city. So we worked a lot on that over the first year. So if you play video 2, you'll see one of the things we did, one of the more entertaining things we tried. So I'll narrate this. So that's one of the 10 versions of Cole you're going to see here. This one's called Gearwolf. and he's looking for love in the city. So he's walking up to the pink robots, which are girls.
Don't take out your gun.
Yeah,
when meet girls.
That's not a smooth way with the pink girls in the robe. So here he's got an opportunity to be a superhero, though. One of the peds came up and told him there was a crime happening. So he runs over and sees that there's a mugger there, and so that's right. Yeah, bitter for that guy. Yeah. So now her feelings have completely changed. And now Cole's reputation in the city has gone up. So people know that he's been fighting crime, and so they're more likely to come up and engage in a little snogging. Yeah. You would think that would be enough. We would just stop there, but no. So here you see a happy couple about to be split apart by Cole's daring do. So she really likes seeing Cole do the flips.
Oh, poor guy.
So here you actually see a ped that's actually proposing a kiss to Cole, but when he's not doing anything, she's heartbroken. So she's about to run away in shame. And everyone's laughing at her.
So write that down: grenade launchers and backflips, keys to love.
Yeah, that's right. So why didn't we keep that, Edward? That seems great.
Wow. Yeah, I don't think that's going to work out so well, considering how many people you're going to see in the streets, and it just makes the whole game really silly.
Yeah. So we eventually we did a lot of stuff like this, the kind of whimsical stuff, lighthearted stuff. And at the same time, you'll see some footage of the other stuff we were doing where we were focusing on combat, on third-person superhero action, super intense stuff. And they didn't really go together. It was, peanut butter and what doesn't go with peanut butter? Skunk. Yeah. Peanut butter and skunk. And it didn't work so well. But we did some other prototyping at the same time in a different form. We did a kind of a 2D computer game version of Infamous that kind of focused on taking over a city, sort of extending your control. So if you could show video 3. So here you're fighting crime by typing in numbers. It's like a programmer fantasy, isn't it?
I didn't work on that, by the way.
No,
Let
that's
me be
not
clear.
your art, Ed. No.
Yeah, we hired a guy, and the first 3 months he never got to turn on his PS3. He just had to work on that, so felt sorry for him.
But he's actually the guy who did the programming on the floor demo that you can play on the floor over in the convention center. So that was the first thing he did, but now he's actually working on real stuff. So
that's a rise to glory, yeah.
And so it's kind of funny because you look at that and you're like, oh, that doesn't have anything to do with Infamous. But in fact, it was where we actually decided that we were going to do islands, that the city was made out of islands with bridges between them, and that the bridges were choke points that you had to gain control of before you could go into the other part of the city. It showed just like we did in the map in the real game, you saw the yellow areas of control. Mm-hmm. And there's some stuff you couldn't really tell in that video where you were, taking over or placing police stations in the city to help you extend your control. So, even the stuff that seemed really crazy, we actually ended up using a lot of it. And you'll sort of see echoes of that as we go through some of these videos.
When we were working on that stuff, we looked at Batman No Man's Land. I don't know if you guys have read that, but it's really cool.
Series.
What's that?
Comic series.
Comic series, yeah. At the beginning of each chapter, they would show a big top-down map, looked like a risk board with kind of the Joker owns this territory and Killer Croc owns this territory, and it kept changing as you went through the story. So that kind of came out of that idea, the idea of taking over territory. And like you said, we shipped it in Infamous 1.
Yeah.
So we also saw Cole was rolling with a gun.
Yeah.
So how did that actually? Did you guys actually think he was going to have guns, actual guns?
Yeah, we actually were really worried when we did the game that we wanted to make sure that what we were doing was really grounded, that it was a superhero you could relate to. So we're going to show you lots of different versions of Cole, but in none of them does he have his underwear on the outside. He's always dressed in kind of semi-real clothes and doing semi-real things.
In the early stages, I mean, we definitely kind of experimented a lot, but one of the things that we did try to do is go, okay, let's try to shoot for realistic or realism. But you definitely will see some stylized. We want to try to see how far we want to push that border. Do we want to just stick with totally realistic? Maybe the hero have no powers, and you're definitely going to see some of that, where he's just using guns and grenade launchers, and then you're going to see, guy doing really crazy stuff, which I don't want to ruin it. You'll definitely see it and be shocked. No.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Jared doesn't want to say anything.
So,
we're going to see some videos, so you'll see lots of examples of the evolution of Cole from just a guy with a grenade launcher up to what you see, in the infamous 2 footage these days.
All right. So actually, the next thing that we're going to check out is your first official take, I guess, at Cole, right?
Yeah. So this is actually what you're going to see here is a trailer that was for use inside of Sony only. So. We made some video for to circulate inside of Sony's organization so that they could see what we were trying to build, so they could keep up to date. So if you could roll the next video.
So as you can see there, that one was like really, we're trying to stick to realism. We didn't know there was no superpower really other than the guy doing some kick-ass bike trick. I don't know. Yeah. It's pretty good.
So it's actually one of the challenges. The motorcycle is part of kind of an overriding theme. When you're doing an open world game, you kind of have to worry about scale and navigation, where the environment, you really want it to be a size that makes sense for a person on foot, so that the gameplay when you're running around shooting at guys is fun. And in a large city, then you also have to figure out, well, how do I do long distance travel? How do I get from one side of the city to the other? I may not want to just trudge there. And so the motorcycle was one of our early takes on that. It was something you might be able to do that was more of a human scale vehicle that you could still move around quickly on.
And also kind of heroic. Like there had been Grand Theft Auto obviously did a lot of work in the open world sandbox stuff, but we actually made a conscious decision, and it was hotly debated whether we should have Cole be able to drive cars or not. And so this was the first thing we tried. Like we wanted to have something that felt more heroic. Batman has the Batmobile, but we didn't want to really do that. So we had kind of a fancy motorcycle, and you could do tricks, kind of early parkour attempts.
Yeah, because even at this point, we were really one of the things that was really influential is we went to see this movie District B13, sort of this French parkour movie. If you haven't seen it, you're wasting yourself because it's great. So
not the sequel, though.
Just leave now and go watch it.
It's not the sequel. You can skip. Sequel's not so good. The first one is spectacularly good. And so we were thinking about parkour free running stuff, and we thought it'd be kind of fun. To transplant that into motorcycles, sort of trials bike sort of stuff, but done kind of in a super heroic way. We ended up not being able to fit it into the game, but it was still kind of a fun idea. So it's fun to see it on screen again.
So what was Sony's reaction to motorcycle dude?
I think they were hoping we were going to find our voice.
Yeah, they didn't can us at that point.
Yeah, that's right. That's the best part about going back and looking at all this old footage. You're like, I can't believe they didn't cancel our project. That sucks. So, but yeah, it got better and better. You look at some of this stuff, and you'll see the Gearwolf stuff coming up, and you'll see it being stylistically very much like a Sly Cooper game. And it took us a long time as a studio to get to the point where we could execute the style that's in Infamous 1. And, now we're getting pretty good at it. We can do stuff in Infamous 2. But you'll sort of see echoes of that where the animation doesn't look right. It looks really cartoony, stylized. And it took us a while to get better at it. The environments, get better and better looking as we go. Just because we needed to learn a lot about how to do stuff like that.
So really, Gearwolf?
Yeah.
Who was naming this guy?
Well...
It's actually kind of a math name, because he was a bike messenger, and so he liked gears. And then on his backpack, he had a wolf, so gear plus wolf.
Gearwolf.
Okay, sure.
Makes sense.
There you go.
Totally.
Actually,
I don't know. I didn't ship. I don't know what happened. It got lost somewhere in the...
Naming games is actually really hard, or even naming the main character. We went through... Gosh, it's worse than I have 2 children, and naming the video game character was like 8 million times harder than naming my kids. And the problem is that you have all these names, and everyone has associations with names. So, like, our game director really, really wanted to call Cole Dominic. And, it's just a fine name if anyone out there. Is anyone out there named Dominic?
Hey, Dominic!
Yeah, sweet. So, it's a great name. It's just not very heroic. Just saying. My name's Chris.
Dominic.
You wouldn't call it. Our game director's name is Nate Fox. That is a superhero name. My name, Chris Zimmerman, not a superhero name. It's a fine name. It's just not a superhero name. So we went around and around. We had hundreds and hundreds of first names we went through, and last names as well. We at some point decided we wanted them to be Scots American. So then we were looking at Scottish names, and we actually went through all the clans, and we actually looked at. At one point I could tell you what the motto was for each of the major clans, because we thought that would be a cool part of the backstory. McGrath is like associated with Clan McDonald, and it's like perseverance or something. So
Cole McGrath, perseverance.
That's right. So
All right. Well, then we should probably, since we built him up, we should probably look at Gearwolf, right?
yeah, definitely.
Gearwolf.
Let's run the next video. Parkour proof of concept. It's bad day to be a gray robot, is what it turns out. But there you can actually start to see, some bits of what you know of as Infamous, right? I mean, things actually look kind of like stuff you saw in the game. You'll see that more as we move forward through here. So.
Yeah, that was kind of a concept video. None of that was real. Like, it was all just animated. So I remember looking at that, him climbing the board and jumping up, and I thought, how could you even make this game?
Right.
That looks awesome. And we'll never do it, but
yeah.
A lot of it actually, we got pretty close. A lot of that stuff really worked.
No, we took we did that whole sequence where he's kind of hippity hopping up the side of the building and then sliding down. That was, as Darren said, it was all done by hand. Andrew Woods, one of our animators, just animated it all straight out like you would do an animated movie. And we took that as our inspiration. We wanted to actually have the game look like that. And then, 3 years of my life later, it almost kind of does. So.
In terms of the visual, the first guy, the Mad Max kind of dressed-looking guy, I don't know, I call him Talon, but that at that point in terms of visual developments, we really didn't know what's going to be going on. It's like what's his job? I mean, what does he do? I mean, what's going on? So that was actually one of the most frustrating things early on. And you can see here, Gearwolf, you can definitely tell that he's kind of have this bike messenger theme. And that's kind of around the time where we're going, oh my God, okay, this is going to help character design out a lot, because that kind of defined, a certain kind of fashion. And so there's something to design toward. Whereas before, it was too wide open. We have no idea what he does. So it was like everything, drawing everything under the sky and just not resonating with any one of them. So this is kind of the starting point where we're going, okay, he's a bike messenger. Now let's move on and see what we can do with that.
So you can actually see some superpower stuff, some electricity stuff coming in there. And if you looked really closely, you could see that his weapon was actually sharpened bike sprockets.
Ooh, that's
pretty
cool.
Scary, huh?
They work. If you ever go try them, they work.
Yeah.
If you do the unsharpened ones, they don't stick as well, but the sharpened ones work.
Right. Do we want to see some more of Gearwolf combat to prove your point?
Yes, please.
Yes, let's go see some more. Next one.
Does it have awesome music like the last one?
Yeah,
Probably
not.
Probably not.
No.
This is like our test environment. Now you can really see the gear. Check that out.
So those are totally bike sprockets.
Yeah, they're completely bike sprockets. We decided that was a little bit dorky. There was actually something we had before that was even dorkier. He would telekinetically summon stuff from the environment to his hand and then throw it like stop signs.
Stop signs.
License plates.
Yeah.
He's in the city, get it?
Deadly weapon.
That was really dorky. So at least we moved past that.
We moved up to sharpened bike gears. Yeah. But the story's not over, fortunately.
But again, you can see some of the stuff coming through, right? I mean, you can see he was taking cover. There were pedestrians running around. The pedestrians actually tried to get out of the way and stuff. So even though, that on the outside it's like, oh, this is horrible, there's some good little bits and pieces in there that actually ended up in the game. So.
All right, but that didn't stop you from continuing in this direction. No. So we have basically your third try at the hero, right?
Yeah, it depends on when you start counting.
Okay.
There's some in there that we didn't count. So can we roll the next video?
And what was this dude's name?
What's the next guy? What's the guy's name?
Chance.
Chance, yeah. He's got a bandana.
That's actually a mask. Covers his whole face.
Yeah. Made those. He's still got a gun, though.
So you can tell the style is more realistic versus Gearwolf was really, they're still stylized.
Yeah. Whoa. Don't hurt me, Chance. And that's actually exactly the reaction you get in the game. I know all of you, whenever you got a pedestrian standing in your sights, just blasted her. But if you don't blast her, she's very frightened.
All right, but you didn't stop messing around with Chance, did you?
No, we didn't. He wasn't good enough.
Yeah, that was like we had started with a bazooka, and then we kind of said, oh, let's try and make it more superpowery, electricity and gears. And then we're like, that's crazy. Let's go back to a gun. So we're now at a gun again. And then we kind of said, well, no, let's go back to electricity. Let's try something else.
Yeah, because we always thought that whatever we ended up doing with the superpower, it had to be at least as much fun as a gun. Because if it's not as much fun as shooting a gun, why don't we give him a gun? And so we struggled with that a long time, of getting to the point where we had a whole set of superpowers that were more fun to play with than just shooting weapons like you do in every shooter. So can we roll the next video? Because then we decided that what would be really superheroic is Call Lightning. That was our first demo of that ever. I remember at our company meeting when we showed that, and the whole room erupted in applause. It was great.
And were those dreadlocks?
Huh?
Were those dreadlocks?
I don't know if there were dreadlocks in that one. Were there dreadlocks?
Oh, no.
The dreadlock ones might still be
Yeah, for
coming.
next
All
one.
right.
Yeah.
Next video, please.
All the Dreadlocks fans, pay attention because we got them.
And this is the first time we...
Yeah.
yeah, you're right.
There we go.
Because there's really nothing more heroic than dreadlocks. And glow-in-the-dark clothing. But you could see they actually kind of had a Cole outfit on there. So a gold
Yeah.
top, black pants, back,
not bad.
messenger bag. So
It's pretty close.
yeah.
And you could see also he had a gun, but his hand was electrified, so we're kind of moving toward electricity again.
Right.
Slowly but surely.
But I think if we go to the next video, it actually looks more like Infamous. So why don't we go ahead and roll that one? Oh, wait. There's something that's not Infamous first.
Are we showing this, really?
Yeah.
Really?
No motorbikes, but
So again, this is us looking and saying, hey, what would be a fun way to get around the city?
So what is that?
That was one of the reasons it got cut. I think it's like a circular saw that he's... I don't know what it
It
is.
kind of looks
I
like
thought
a
it's like
table
a-
fan.
What did you think
a
it
pizza.
was? A pizza.
All right.
plate, I thought.
So I don't know. It was not good enough. We got rid of that. So, and we ended up with but we kept hitting the problem, right? And we kept trying things that let you move around quickly. And eventually we hit on the grind wires, which actually are really super fun and kind of fit in with the rest of the theme. And I remember Darren's first prototype of that. It was just like this horribly ugly little prototype. Just like jumped on a little block and it went sliding along the wire. But it was fun, and that's our role. We try things, and the stuff that's fun we keep. So we kind of took a step back and said, okay, sliding along the wires is going to be fun. How do we make it look cool? How do we make it feel heroic? And so we went through, a few iterations on that, just trying more stuff and adding more layers of realism to the move to make it feel real, and ended up being, one of the more popular parts of the game. So.
And we knew we were happy with like the third-person combat. We were happy with the parkour, being able to climb the buildings. But we still had the problem of how do you get from, if you're on this side of the city, it's no fun to just run to the other side of the city. It's really boring. So how do you amp that up and make that exciting? And that was not it. It turned out. Grind wires were our answer, I think.
Yeah, it worked out great. So let's roll the next video if we could. So. This is parkour. Okay, this will be fun. So here you're going to see about 4 different distinct takes at the parkour
He got over
system.
the fence. Sorry.
Yeah, that's right. Fences were always a problem for Cole McGrath, so.
But not for Gearwolf.
But you can see it's a little bit, it looks a little bit like Sly Cooper, if you ever played those games. So kind of a little springy and bouncy. And here it's starting to get a little bit closer. You'll see some postures, even though it's Gearwolf, you'll see some postures that you actually remember from Infamous 1. Some moves. This is actually a completely different control scheme, but you can't tell that from the video. But, trying to move around a real-world environment. And then after this, I think we get... This goes on a long time. So now you're seeing Cole, plus or minus.
He's got a quilted shirt.
Yeah,
it's really sweet.
A little puffy jacket. So, but again, it kind of looks like a bad version of Infamous at this point. So really kind of stiff. He doesn't feel like he has any weight to him. He's got the moves that you're used to from the game, but it just feels rigid.
And it is a little bit hard to tell, but once we move on and show the improvement, then you'll go, oh, wow,
Yeah,
okay.
Right.
So this is firing
Yes,
by
this is when we
hanging.
added the ability to... Oh, he's got blonde hair there. Do you see? Look at that hair.
This was one thing that we really didn't know how it would work. Aiming from parkour, we thought, what would be the purpose? But one thing that it was really cool was being able to climb on the edge of a building and shoot people before they saw you.
Yeah. So here we're adding some secondary motion to the character. It's like another year forward. So you'll see when he lands, there's some weight to him. So he needs to resettle. And when he hits here, he's going to swing a little bit. This is in our test world that we test all the parkour stuff in. I think there's one more, and this is actually pretty much what shipped in Infamous 1. So again, just another level of polish on it. It kind of looks, better.
So for the character model, I think we're more or less like there for Cole, but the costume was still, something that we changed.
Right, because it was dorky.
Oh.
It's not your fault. Well, I suppose.
Yeah, it isn't. Someone
else's fault.
All right, and so Infamous, all about superpowers. We've seen little bits, but you guys actually have a bunch of prototype stuff now to show us, yeah?
Yeah, that's great. So we could see the Infamous 1 powers from 2007. So this is kind of fun because you'll see the next video, please. So here, this is what we think it is. Yeah. So you're going to see, this is kind of our original prototype. So you'll see some where like, I don't remember that power. This is him catching bullets and then firing them back. And this is him healing himself. So the red's sort of encroaching damage, and then he's going to heal himself.
He feels better. Yeah. So here's one that actually shipped.
Kind of looks different, but...
So this is the Minions power. You could actually kind of electrically control people's minds.
Electric zombies.
And this is kind of the good version. You could take an average like cowering citizen and turn him into a hulking giant. Oh, he needs a little more power there, buddy. Yeah, there you go. You're ready again. So we love the visuals on this, but the problem is, look what Cole's doing. He's just sitting there watching. There's no gameplay, and then so we ended up having to cut it.
This one we didn't cut.
Vampire Drain, we shipped that one.
Yeah, with the prototype effects in place.
TK throw. Well, you'll see. We'll show you something a little later. We're kind of like doing something like this in Infamous 2. This was almost like mouse control of a car. You can just move it around like with your god hand and run people over.
Well, you saw that earlier. This is like the third try at TK throw, and then the one that you can actually we'll show at the very end here. It's like about the fifth time we tried it. So
it's like looking in someone's garage who has a nice bike out front, and you see all these old broken bikes in their garage. They cannibalize. So
yeah. Cool. So do you want to run you can just go ahead and go ahead.
Yeah, it's time to look at Infamous 2 stuff, right?
Yeah, great. So let's run the next one, the Infamous 2 powers. You probably had figured that out, actually. Yeah! Woo!
Yeah,
Giant's boots stops cold. That's the key. That's the secret.
So take away the thing that makes the game fun.
Yeah,
not a good,
that's right.
not a good enemy power.
This one's actually pretty good. See how Cole's attacks are getting sucked into that little thing on top of
This is my favorite. Mini Reapers! Yay! Yeah, it took our animation lead 2 weeks to make the last one. Why?
Exactly. It's tough. I can't believe that we're not showing that in the gameplay footage that we're showing.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's funny in game development. Things. It takes time to make things, and we need a lot of times when we're making a part of the game, we need an asset before it's ready. So, like a character, we need to have the character so we can start designing gameplay. And a lot of times, for whatever reason, the character team likes to make the clothes last. So you have all these naked people running around, and it wasn't bad when they were robots, but it's kind of awkward.
It's disturbing.
Yeah.
So.
All right, we should show them the rest of the power
Let's
stuff.
see the rest of them in the last the powers video. So one of the things, go ahead and run it. One of the things that came out of Infamous 1 was that lots and lots of people who played the game did melee. They really liked doing physical attacks on people in the game. It made them feel heroic. And in Infamous 1, we really kind of tried to stop you from doing it in a lot of ways. We wanted you to do aimed at attacks at a distance. So this time around, we really wanted to do some melee stuff that was really fun and felt heroic. And this is our kind of prototype proof of concept for it.
You got him.
Yeah. This is TK throw take 4.
Bad guys are naked too.
Giant spiky balls, yeah!
That's fun, right? Lots of spiky balls.
Did you see that I had Eric redact the name of the power at the top? There's a black bar at the top of those videos.
Nice. Yeah.
We couldn't tell you what the name of that power was. It really wasn't appropriate for us to tell you what that was called.
All right, so let's squeeze in the sneak preview of Infamous 2, and then y'all can ask some questions.
Yeah. So are we going to do this live? Did we decide? We're going to do this live.
Sure,
so
we are.
Can everyone please cross their fingers? Would help. Okay. I'm double crossed.
Do you want to set it up?
Oh, set it up? Well,
We'll start. It starts in kind of the swamp area. You'll see a lot of that in the new game, New Marais. A lot more greenery, a lot more water, swamp. PAX, any arcade expo.
PAX, yes.
Oh, I see encouraging signs. You may begin, Michael.
It's cutting off part of the screen.
think Michael McLean, our test manager, deserves an extra round of applause for that excellent playthrough. That game looks great.
It looks a lot better than the other stuff, that's for sure.
So we're trying to do a whole bunch of things with Infamous 2, and one of them is we're really trying to up the ante in terms of production values. So Infamous 1 we really liked mechanically. It was really fun to play. But we didn't do as good a job as we could do on all the stuff that really gets you emotionally involved in the story and then in the action. So in a lot of the stuff you're seeing here, you know, that melee prototype proof of concept, even the gameplay here, you're seeing a lot more use of things like time dilation, you know, slowing time down, speeding it up, a lot more interesting moves with the camera, where the camera will Dutch, turn sideways during the thing, or shake. We've worked really super hard on the effects in the game because we really think that adds to the whole experience.
Yeah, and pretty much, basically, we take a look at everything that we've done, you know, art and the city, the hero, the models, and really, really trying to turn it up a notch.
Yeah,
So.
our kind of motto is no stone left unturned. And sometimes we turn over more stones than we ought to. I won't say anything else about
Soul's
that.
model.
Yeah. Perhaps we shouldn't have given Cole hair. Perhaps.
The dreadlocks were bad. We should have taken a cue from that. Cole does not need hair.
Anything else? Any other final statements on Infamous 2 before we...
Let's just go to Q&A.
Yeah.
All right, somewhere there's a microphone. There's that fine gentleman there walking it.
You have any questions, Ricardo? You can start it off.
How many of the powers that you showed us prototyping for Infamous 2 are in the game?
Some of them.
Like which ones?
The tornado.
Tornado.
You've seen that one, and the grinding on poles. We took the grind wires, which everyone really liked in the last game, and we decided we were going to, extend that. So we have some wall grinding where you can do it on walls and then on poles as well. And then anything else? Oh, and then the TK throw, you kind of see some of that.
Kinetic pulse.
Oh, sorry.
We have a real name for it now.
Kinetic pulse. So I never know the real names for any of this stuff. So.
All right, we got a line.
Yeah, I was just kind of curious. What was your favorite idea from Infamous 1 that you were forced to cut? And don't say the guy who you had Cole make him super huge, because you kept that.
We did. We kind of did. Actually, and we kept the minion stuff, the minionized stuff, too. It didn't turn into a power that Cole can use, kind of for the same reasons that the giant guy didn't. It's not very fun to just watch your guys play the game for you. But it was really visually cool. So in the storyline of Infamous 1, Sasha's a villain. She has this mind control stuff, and if you turn evil, she'll help you. And she kind of does the mind control on the people, and they come along and help you fight guys. So
what was your favorite thing? What was your thing that you wish what did we cut?
Oh, I don't know. I thought Gearwolf was just fine. There was nothing wrong.
What about you, Darren? What was your favorite thing that we cut?
Probably TK Throw.
TK Throw?
Which is an Infamous 2. Shocking.
You were in a position to make that happen, so...
Yeah.
I just wanted to make everything that was there better. It wasn't that we cut anything I wanted to have. It was just that maybe we kept too much stuff. We were in a big rush at the end last time. It was kind of crazy because we spent 3.5 years making Infamous 1. It was like long enough to go all the way through high school. And yet at the end, we still didn't have enough time to really finish it like we wanted to. So, this time around, we're able to do that. We have things figured out, really. And we can take the time to make everything look great and everything feel and play great. Mm-hmm.
Hey, I was kind of afraid to bring up the video game prototype, but I heard the word prototype used about 7 times so far in this presentation, so kind of broke the ice a little bit. Now, I'm sure you guys remember the story of Yahtzee from Zero Punctuation making the challenge of whichever team can make the other character in drag the best is the better game.
Yes.
What's the story from you guys behind that? Because I thought that was so cool. How that came about.
It was a competition. The guys in Vancouver tried to make Cole look as weak as possible, and we did the same thing for Alex. And really, the key turned out to be the power of unicorns. So
yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
and rainbows.
And rainbows.
Rainbows are really
I
powerful.
think he was kind of going like this, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was not manly by the time we were done with him.
There was actually some augmentations to his body.
That's
as well.
right. Yeah. He was a little estrogen therapy for Alex Mercer as well. So.
Hey, in their game, you can change Alex into a girl. So we just went with it.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was there. We had to do it. So.
Hi. I had one really quick question and then another question kind of related to multiplayer. Will Amon Tobin be doing the soundtrack for the second one? And was there any pressure that you guys felt to put a multiplayer component into the game as opposed to focusing on single player, which I actually like a lot better?
The Amon Tobin question, I don't think I can answer officially right now. There's obviously lots of stuff that I'd love to tell you that there's a sniper from Sony in the back of the room.
Don't turn around. Don't turn around.
I get a bullet through my forehead if I say the wrong thing here. So I don't think I can comment on Amon Tobin. I can guarantee that you will really like the music in the game. It's one of the reasons we chose New Orleans as our sort of inspiration for the game, because there's such a rich musical heritage there. We really wanted to draw upon that. It's part of being in New Orleans is the music, right? So we really hope that New Marais has that same sort of feel to it. As far as multiplayer, I don't think I can even acknowledge that question.
Yeah, we get that question on the forums a lot. There's like multiplayer and the PS3 3D and like the Move stuff. So all that stuff we can't comment on today, but stay tuned.
Yeah. Well, but we're certainly hear you in terms of the first priority for us being the single player experience and making sure that lives up to our standards, which keep getting higher and higher, with every game. I think if we get done with Infamous 2 and it's no better than Infamous 1, we'll feel like we've failed. We've been really excited about Infamous 2 because it felt like we really had an opportunity to do something special. We had a video game property that had a lot of potential, and we'd built a great team, and we had the support of Sony, which is great, and we had 2 years to do something great, and we're a little over halfway through that, and things are still looking good. So, we're really excited about the next 8 months, and the single player experience. I really feel like it's going to be great. It's going to be better than Infamous 1 in terms of immersing you in the story, pulling you in. It's just more spectacular. And if you saw the gameplay video there, it's just, it just kicks ass. I mean, it's just great.
Just more polish.
Yeah. It's great. And, I think a lot of the things that were snags for people with Infamous 1, people felt maybe the karma system was a little clunky. We've worked hard on that. I can't tell you about it. I have to wait for a couple months, sorry. We added melee. We did some more stuff. The powers, there's more and better powers this time. So, we really have tried to take the fan base into account, the people that really liked Infamous 1 but had legitimate concerns and things they wanted to improve. We've really tried to look at those things hard. And I think we've been pretty successful. So I think you all will have a great time playing Infamous 2.
Our goal is to make the player feel like their choices matter, which we tried to do in Infamous 1, and we're gonna. It's still a pillar in Infamous 2.
Hi, I just had a question. 3.5 years is a pretty long time, and it sounds like you guys bounced back and forth between Sony quite a bit. What was that experience like as far as pitching the prototypes back and forth and all that jazz?
We always say wandering in the desert. That's kind of our description of it.
The first year was pretty painful, really, because we had it was painful for us as a studio. I mean, bluntly, there were lots of people at Sucker Punch that were there to do the Sly Cooper games, and suddenly we were doing something that was very different. And it was hard, for me as a manager of the company, because what I felt was best for the company, going in this direction that ended up being, I think, a pretty successful direction for us, wasn't the right direction for some of the people at the company. And we had some people, friends of mine, that ended up leaving and going and doing different things, and that was sad. Sad for them, sad for us. It was hard, that first year while we were trying to figure out exactly what the game was and why it was going to be fun and why, people were going to buy it. It was tough, but we had good people there, and we were making progress. So even though it didn't look very good, it was getting better. And that kissing demo was just brilliant. So
yeah,
pulled me through the first year. So
it's the prototyping process can be difficult because all that stuff you saw is literally years of work. This is what we got for it. Was this like 10 minutes of video, and the rest of it just got thrown away. So. Yeah. We have to be we just try not to be precious with any of our work. We try to just be divorced from it, and if it's good, it stays. If not, we throw it away and try again.
And I think the people that end up being happy and successful at Sucker Punch are people that are really self-critical, that you really want people that are what they want. The feedback they want is what's not working or what's not good or what needs to get fixed. Those are the people that tend to be happiest at Sucker Punch. People that need continuous pats on the back, they don't tend to do very well. Because we're really obsessed with making the game as good as possible, and that means fixing the stuff that's broken. I mean, we'll celebrate the stuff that's good, too, but it's really fixing the stuff that's broken that makes the game better.
And art is, something that's really emotional for artists. So as an artist, you're going, oh, okay, I'm drawing this, but it's not good enough. So there's a couple of ways to take that. It's like, well, okay, if I'm not good enough, maybe this isn't something that I enjoy doing, I should just go. Or you can look at that and go, wow, you know what? This is a challenge. I want to do something different. I want to push myself. So the people that do, found success. They push until they've achieved what they needed to. So definitely seeing the different styles in there was our struggle, trying to find ourselves, trying to find that visual look that hopefully people could, latch onto. So that was my biggest challenge.
Yeah, and you get, there are little nuggets in there, right? There's an endless sea of frustration, but occasionally cool stuff happens. Like, I remember the first time we had a prototype of the graphic cutscenes, and I saw that and I was like, wow, that is great. We're doing a lot of stuff that looks like a 65 Metacritic Capcom game. But did I just say that out loud? Sorry.
I didn't hear it. What?
You didn't hear that. But then we saw the graphic cutscene stuff, and we're like, "Wow, that's great. That's really cool." And those little things, the things where something goes really well, pulls you forward, and you build the game out of that, right? You find the treasures and you keep them, and that's what ends up being the game.
And it just takes time as well. I mean, you can't just snap a finger and go, "Okay, we change." So it did take. Thank goodness we have all those years, because we actually have to train the studio and we have to find the people to help us, grow in that direction. So,
right,
yeah.
So we've had, I think, over the whole history of Sucker Punch, we've hired a little bit more than 100 people, like 105, 110, and we have 80 of them at the company now after 12 years. So there are lots of people that have been around a long time. When did you start, Ed?
93.
No, 2003.
2003,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. It's like, that's
Wow.
before Sucker Punch.
Existed, amazing.
I was Sucker Punch
And
before that.
you started about the same time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and we have got a lot of people that have been around a long time, and that really helps with the prototyping process because everyone's comfortable with each other, and everyone kind of knows how it works, and no one gets bent out of shape when their pet idea gets shot down.
Spiky balls. Infamous 3. Look for it in Infamous 3. That's it. Okay.
All right. Anyhow,
Thank
next
you.
question. Yeah.
Thank you.
So Infamous 2 seems to be bigger and better in every way, and I was wondering if that transferred over to the cast of characters. Like, would you have a larger cast of characters than the first one, and would we possibly be seeing other returning characters other than Cole and Zeke, like possibly Moya or Ghost of Trish or something?
Trish is dead. So.
Yeah, spoiler.
Really?
Spoiler.
So
One thing we focused on is not necessarily the number of characters, but the quality of the characters and the cutscenes. One of the big criticisms of Infamous was the presentation. Like when the characters talk to each other, they kind of. We practice this a lot, you can tell. But that's one of the things we have. We're doing mocap, we're doing real performance recording, and all kinds of stuff. So I'm really excited about it. It's looking a lot better already.
Yeah, so we did Caleb, the guy who voiced Zeke. We brought back. He's like a full bore actor, and he worked out well. We're really excited about the guy that's doing Cole this time around. It's Eric. What's Eric's last name? Layden. Yeah. So Eric was. Who was he in Left 4 Dead 2? Ellis?
Ellis, I believe.
Yeah, he was Ellis in Left 4 Dead 2.
Yep.
He's a great actor. He has a lot of panache, and that's really kind of what we wanted for Cole. He does menace really well, and without just being gruff, he can project menace and still, feel like a real guy.
He intimidates me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And about just having like a big cast of character, the disadvantage of that is that it takes away time from the main character. So
right.
it's definitely a balance, and production as well.
There are a couple new characters that are really central to the story that I think we'll be introducing pretty soon, and Cole and Zeke, and I think we'll just have to leave it there. So.
Yep.
Thank you very much.
This is, I guess it's time, according to this time. Okay, so the last question, and then how are they going to get their shirts? Anybody know?
Oh, that's right. You get shirts. Did we mention that?
One more, though. One more question.
All right, one more question, then free stuff. Go nuts.
Awesome. My question is actually two related ones about your trailers. One is one of your better trailers featured Malabar Front, If These Streets Could Talk. Yeah. I don't recall if you actually used it in the game. I don't remember seeing it.
Yeah, I think it's just in the trailer.
It is?
Yeah, that was great. The Beauty of Powers trailer, I think, is that one. Is that right? The Malabar Front one?
I believe
so.
so.
That was a great trailer.
That's my favorite. Yeah.
Awesome.
So.
I might have just blanked out on that one. And the other part is you guys are one of the few developers that actually have been able to sell me on a game without actually having hands-on, just based on the trailers alone. So can you talk about like what is, did you guys create the trailers in-house? Did you hook up with another company, or how was that process?
It's kind of a mix. Sometimes we do them in-house, and sometimes we send them out. Like the one with Malabar Front, The Beauty of Powers, that was actually done outside. I think it was GNet?
GNet, yep. GNet.
Yeah, GNet did that one. We've had At Farm do some trailers. So it kind of depends. And it really depends on where we're at kind of production-wise. If we have our video guys free, then they'll do it for sure because they're great. If we're in the middle of making the game, it's an easy way for us to spend money instead of spending our people. So sometimes we'll end up going outside just because we don't have people free, and we need to have the people that we have. We need to be working on the game, not on the trailer. So, sometimes we go one way, sometimes we go the other way. Yep.
Okay. Thanks.
All right. I want to thank everybody on the stage for coming and the audience for coming. And
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.